I've left late, I got to fuel up, and now I've got some spots on the visor. Welcome to Monday. Let's talk about lane filtering. Now, two definitions: lane filtering and lane splitting. So lane filtering is less than 30 kilometers an hour between two lanes of traffic. Lane splitting is more than 30 kilometers an hour. Lane filtering good, lane splitting bad. Now, I'm in New South Wales, so make sure you check your state, because each state differs slightly in their rules. Can't lane filter in a school zone. It is currently 8:07. Of course, as soon as I want to demo something, that's when I get to go straight to the front. You watch today that I want to talk about lane filtering. It's when all the traffic will suddenly be awesome. So, rules: less than 30 kilometers an hour, must be between two lanes of traffic, can't be on the left. Queensland have a thing called edge filtering, which is different, which they can on a freeway. Go down the left hand side, down the breakdown lane. You're about to move, do it. Thank you, sir. The most difficult thing about filtering is the variables, is where people sit on the road is all over the place. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's hard. It all comes down to the drivers, unfortunately. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. Now, surprise, surprise, this guy's actually in the left lane, which is a bit of an odd occurrence in Sydney. Now, key thing to remember is just be nice and loose on the handlebars. The tighter you hold them, the less control you have, and the harder it becomes. Passing buses and trucks, just be patient, just wait. You know, most of the people that come unstuck in filtering, it's around trucks, unfortunately, which, trucks are unforgivingly heavy. So look at the gap here, and then look at the gap here. Now, the key thing to remember when you're filtering is they are not expecting you to be there. Very little people in a car actually expect a bike to come through. Now, it seems in summer they tend to get a little more used to it just because of the frequency of bikes that are doing it. Now, one of the things to remember is always, as you're approaching a set of lights, start to think about how much room you've got, how much time you've got. If the lights have just changed, then you've got a bit of time to get through the traffic. If the lights, if you don't know how long the lights have been since they changed, then it makes it a bit harder to determine if you can make it all the way through. So when you're about to filter, looking straight ahead, figuring out, planning your moves, how far you're going to get, etc. Open the visor, and then filter on in. It's not only about where you're going to start filtering, but it's more importantly is where you're going to finish. Are you going to end up getting all the way to the front and be able to get in front of all the traffic, or are you going to have to merge in? Now, if you need to do the latter, then it's not a problem. It's easy. You just do it as though you just do it the same way as any other lane merge. When I'm merging back in, I always use my indicator where possible. Sometimes you can't. And particularly look with your head, because that's what people are going to notice. They're probably going to notice your head looking to the spot in front of them more than they're going to notice your indicator. Kind of gives them a signal that you're going to pull in front of them. And then, once you've done it, give a little wave to say thanks. That little wave I think it's very important, because it's a little wave to say thanks, which is kind of just making them realise you're not the bad guy. But also, it puts a bit of authority on it, because it says, I know what I'm not doing this sneakily, I'm doing this because I'm allowed to. unfortunately, you're going to get those ones that then tailgate you straight after you've merged in, because that's the unfortunate bit about filtering, is that most car drivers don't realise that it's actually legal, and what you're doing is perfectly within your right to do. Not to mention an advantage to them. Yeah, it's one less car on the road, environmental impacts, blah blah blah, all that stuff. When I'm about to merge, first thing I do, open the lid, because you're breathing heavy and you're going slow. Throw my indicator on as well, just to indicate that I'm changing, almost like I'm changing lanes, even though you're kind of not. Now you're going to come across guys like this, just sit right on the line, which is really painful and annoying. And you get people like that who just give you that little bit of space, which is really appreciated. So I'm indicating again, just so the car behind me knows that I'm doing something. It may not be exactly what they're expecting, because they'll probably see it as a lane change, which effectively it is. You're changing lanes from the two car lanes into the bike lane. Oh, look at that. Nice. Thank you, sir. Now, if you ask any car drivers, they'll tell you that if they say they don't like filtering, the main reason will be that they're worried about the car getting scratched. This is where you have to do the handlebar shuffle. Wave of thanks. So most people get upset because they're worried they're going to miss out on getting through the lights, because unlike us, they've been sitting there for a good 5-10 minutes. Now, I don't think I'll get all the way to the front before these lights change, so well, thank you, but I might just. The key part of that is that you're constantly looking forward to see when the lights are going to change, but it's also a lot easier when you're actually filtering to look forward to see, what's ahead of you. Get time for that one, so I'll pull back in. Now, what makes it easier is to keep that momentum going. I love it when people just throw their car into another lane. What's even the point of putting the indicator on in the first place? Now, if I know I'm going to have to merge back in, so this traffic's starting to move away, I look for a gap, turn the indicator on, and give a little wave of thanks and move over. As I was saying before, most of the time they're not expecting you to be there. So suddenly a bike appearing in front of them, they're not really used to it. They're not expecting it. So they also don't know what to expect you to do. The more you can do to help them understand what you're going to do, the easier it is for them and you. Now, people will get used to lane filtering. They're going to have to, because fuel prices are only going to get more expensive. Now, passing trucks, you just got to figure out how much time you got and whether you got enough room to get all the way through. So make sure the truck is not going to move by the time you get to the end of it. As long as you can get all the way to the end of that truck before it's going to move again, then you're fine. But if it's close to not making it, then don't attempt it. Just be patient. There's two big problems with trucks around filtering. One, they can't see you. They don't know that you're there, most likely, depending on their mirror setup, etc. And then secondly, you can get caught underneath them. They've got big high open-ended sides and big heavy wheels that go squish. RMS sort of advised not to filter around buses and trucks, but ultimately it comes down to a judgment call on each individual circumstances. Now when you get to the front of the line, RMS's little graphics stay in the centre, like what this guy's doing, but unfortunately that means that I end up stuck here. Personally, I don't like that situation. I find it a little bit risky and a little bit confusing for the drivers. So if you've pulled up between two cars and the lights are about to change, theoretically you pull away faster than them and everything's fine. And we're going to get some proper rain now. But the problematic part of that is that both those cars don't know who's giving way to who. Yeah, they're basically looking, I've got a bike beside me, maybe that guy to the left of me is going to give way to him, and the guy on the left's going, well, I'm guessing the guy on the right's going to give him space. You know, it's just, it leaves a bit of uncertainty. Now, what I prefer to do is when you pull up to a set of lights, is to pull in front of one of those cars. That doesn't mean pull into the intersection completely, it just means sort of shift yourself so that you're somewhat in front of one of the cars. What it does, it just says, okay, I'm in front of you now, which some people will get pissed off about, but in reality what it's doing is just removing the ambiguity. It's just removing that doubt of what's going to happen, who's going to do what. You've sort of positioned yourself to say, I will go first, then you go after me. Now, while some people may, as I said, get the shits of it, but at least they know what's going on. And I'd much prefer someone to be slightly shitty than someone to be confused. And that's the thing, most bikes are going to easily out-launch most cars, but you just don't know. And if you're riding a scooter that's pretty underpowered and you pull up next to a WRX or something like that, it's got plenty of launching capability. But of course, don't pull. I've seen some guys pull right into the intersection, which is don't be a pain in the ass for the pedestrians. Sometimes I'll wait until the pedestrians have gone past and then shift myself. So you're still shifting yourself before the lights change, but at least you're not sort of getting in the way of pedestrians. Because technically you shouldn't be pulling into the intersection, but usually there's a way to do it without really pulling into the intersection because you're so short compared to a car. I did not expect rain. Rain, go away, come again another day, except I ride every day, so, whatever. I think the moral of that little ditty is I'll just get on with it and shut the hell up. Now, you'll get used to how wide your bike is. Dude, are you ever going to change lanes? Ever had that indicator on for like half an hour? You love it when you see a car all banged up and they're like barreling their way through traffic. Yeah, well, you obviously learned your lesson, didn't you, mate? So the key things to remember is, as you approach, plan your filtering. Know what you're going to do, how far you're going to get, and where you're going to end up. Know what obstacles you're going to have to deal with. Keep looking straight ahead. As you filter through, you'll get used to how wide your bike is, and you'll learn what gaps you can fit through and what you can't. So you won't need to be looking down, you want to be looking straight ahead. Keep that momentum going. Remember to relax. Relax the shoulders, relax your arms, and relax your hands. Don't be gripping the handlebars like you're holding onto them. You're not using handlebars to hold onto, you're using handlebars to control. Oh, I can feel the bridge moving under me. It's so unsettling. Now, you will get people that'll make it difficult. You will get people who will suddenly shift their cars over and block you from getting through. Don't stress about it. There's always going to be arseholes out there, unfortunately, and it's not going to change. Fortunately, it is going to take some public education for people to realise that lane filtering, has been legalised, and New South Wales has been legalised for more than 2 years. But they'll get used to it. Obviously, the extreme version is you visit places like Bali and Thailand and so on, where you've got more bikes than you have cars, and it all just works. Everyone just works together. People are just going to have to get used to it, because taking a full-size car into a city on your own is just a complete waste. It's a waste of fuel, it's a waste of carbon. So that's it. Stay safe, have fun.